Hey, this is the 5th lesson for this training course that lays the foundation to become a naturally attractive man. It is built upon a very simple rule for success. You watch each lesson and you continue to the next one only after you have done all the exercises in that lesson. The true power of this course lies on your participation. So if you haven't been on this course from the beginning, then push the button on the top right corner right now. However, if you have, well, then let's continue with lesson 5. I, like many men around the world, used to have this problem of not knowing how to flirt. I would talk for ages with this girl I liked, but the conversation would never go to the sexual direction I wanted it to. The conversations were mostly mundane and boring. No sexual tension, no nothing. Sometimes by accident I would, somehow, flirt in a way that was good. But it was never a consistent thing for me, because I had absolutely no clue what I was doing or what I was supposed to do. Nowadays, things have changed, and in this session I will give you tips for becoming a better flirt. To start it off, let me make general statements about flirting. Flirting is all about fun. It's a playful way of communication. If the both of you are not having fun, well, then it's not really flirting. Flirting is not just giving compliments, it's not mirroring body language, it's not just building rapport, it's not overly blunt nor seriously direct. Flirting is a dance between the masculine and the feminine. If you want to make a conversation flirty, you will have to lead her there. You cannot tell a woman to feel intrigued or aroused. You can only lead her by sparking her imagination. Becoming more narrow now, flirting is hinting. You are not saying you like her, you hint it. You are not saying she sparks your imagination, you hint it. Subtlety is one of the big keys to flirting. I want to give you a distinction. It's totally fine to be direct when approaching a woman. It's even fine to be direct when flirting, but only if you know how to flirt. Most men don't. Most men, while flirting, are overly direct and blunt. That's because they don't know how to tease and excite a woman the way that women know how to excite men. Let me give you an example. A female friend of mine was recently approached the following way. "You were at the gym earlier today, right?" "Yes, I was." "Yeah, I noticed. You have a great ass." Overly direct, totally blunt. Perfectly illustrates the lack of flirtatious finesse. She told me that his first question got her intrigued by the whole situation. Who is he? Why did he notice me? Questions like that started popping up in her mind. But that intrigue was short-lived, because of the clumsy follow-up by the guy. As soon as the last word left his mouth, she became totally cold and disinterested in him. A much better version of this conversation would have been, "You were at the gym earlier today, right?" "Yes, I was." "Yeah, I noticed." Leaving out that comment would have been so much more flirtatious. Then she would have kept on wondering who he is and why he noticed her. And that's what flirting should do. Ignite her imagination, keep her wondering and pondering. Or the guy could have responded with a subtle line that implies his interest instead. Anything along the lines of, "Fit girls usually are sexy," or "Training does give women that extra something on their curves." It's hard to look away. Compare what the guy said, "You have a great ass," with the 3 latter examples. They feel totally different, although on all 4 occasions he basically said he is interested in the girl. Implying, rather than stating it outright, feels more exciting to women. There's safe intrigue, and she can be quite sure you like her, but there's still room for her to wonder how much. Subtlety that sparks the imagination is far better than overbearing directness. A tweak as simple as saying, "You know, I think I might like you," is often better than saying it straight up, "I like you." Or when she says something like, "I love to exercise," you can reply with, "And I love girls who love to exercise." You are not saying you like her, you are saying you like girls like her. But don't get confused. You are being subtle and you imply things, not because you try to hide your interest or attraction. owning your interest is one of the cornerstones of being an attractive man. You are doing it because this is an enjoyable and playful way of letting her know about your interest. The next big key to flirting is frame control. And in this instance, I mean framing the conversation in a way that she is pursuing you. She is chasing you. She is the one trying to seduce you. Like most men never think to use subtlety in flirting, they also never think about having fun with a woman by making her the person who is trying to seduce him. The whole idea of this is to semi-jokingly imply that she is seducing you. It's a role-playing thing. Let me give you some examples. The girl is wearing a sweet perfume. The guy goes closer to her neck, smells her, and says, "How did you know I like sweet perfumes? You are playing an unfair game." At this point, the woman usually understands the flirtiness. If she doesn't or wants to play, she might ask something like, "What do you mean?" Well, here I was, still trying to figure out if I like you, and you come in sabotaging the whole thing. Now I just can't think straight. Basically, whenever a girl is dressed to impress, you can say something like that. Easy, right? Second example. During a conversation, whenever a woman says something positive about herself, like how she loves to cook or read books or to exercise or well, whatever, a man can simply say, "Oh, you are sneaky," casually mentioning qualities that most men desire in a woman. I won't be seduced so easily though, I think. Blah blah blah. So I was at the beach earlier. Oh man, don't try to make me think about you half naked like that. That's totally not fair. Whenever a woman says something that makes you imagine her in a sexual situation, accuse her of trying to turn your mind sexual, especially if this imagination came unintentionally. By twisting everything she says and does to make it seem like she is the one trying to land you and you are trying to withstand her seduction, you make the interaction very fun, lively and sexual. And that is flirtation at its best. Lighthearted, carefree and very exciting for women. A lot of my flirtatious finesse has come from practicing being cocky and funny. This is a term coined by David D'Angelo, and his product, Cocky Comedy, is solely dedicated to it. There are different ways of flirting, sure. San in the Alabaster Girl gives you insight into flirting from a different perspective, but mixing and matching subtlety with the "she's pursuing you" frame control will give you a great foundation to start practicing. So, to sum it all up, flirting is a playful way of communication. Don't be overly direct and totally blunt. Leave hints, be subtle and imply. That sparks the imagination. Control the frame and playfully suggest she is trying to pick you up. So, you now have an understanding of flirting and its main components. You also have a product recommendation if you want to go deeper on this subject. And this brings us to the exercises. For the first exercise, I have compiled a couple of videos into the playlist. Most of them come from David D'Angelo. I want you to look through these videos at least twice. The first time, watch them normally. The second time, however, you will want to take notes. Pause the videos when you need to and write stuff down. Get yourself some training wheels to practice with. Also, the next video will be titled "Messing with Her." And if you aren't sure how to make a conversation fun and flirty, then take the message from this video to heart. Only when you have completed the first exercise in this training session, continue to the second part. Okay, get your journal ready and I will see you in the second part of this lesson.